Hello everyone, I am Left, and welcome back to what is finally going to be the restart of the competitive analysis series because I have new material. Vainglory 8 started last weekend because today is Monday, and there are just so many games for me to break down. Now, sadly, I'm not going to be able to do every game every week. In fact, I'm only going to be able to do at least three. I'm only going to be able to do 3 at the most games every week. So, maybe it was a little bit of short-sightedness, maybe it was me jumping the gun, but I have decided to do the series between Gankstars and Esports. This was a first-round game, happened on Saturday. It went to 3 games, so we're going to be doing the first game today. Expect the second game either tomorrow or Wednesday, and expect the third game on Thursday or Friday. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about this draft that is currently up on the screen. So you see Hammers Esports bans Kestrel and Lyra, Gankstars bans Koshka and Adagio. Hammers takes Ringo, Glaive, and Finn. Gankstars takes Vox, Lance, and Alpha. So, looking at these 2 team comps, let's first talk about Hammers. Hammers, it's pretty obvious that their team is set up to funnel most of their gold into starting all over, who will be playing their Ringo, and T-Tigers on Glaive will be playing Crystal cooldown Glaive, and his entire job on the map is probably just going to be to pump people into starting while starting is building breaking point stacks. Now, it's going to be Chicken123 playing the Finn, and that is the pick that I really take issue with. We're going to see later in this game, the Finn does not really work out for Hammers, and the reason for that being, they've got 2 slow heroes, the Finn and the Ringo, and they've got 1 really fast mobile hero in the Glaive. And you'll see this disparity in mobility across their comp ends up really hurting them, because the Glaive will afterburn in, and if he doesn't get the perfect afterburn, it's a 1v3, Glaive versus the entire team of Gankstars. So that is something to watch out for when we watch the gameplay clips later on in the video. So now let's talk about Gankstars. Now Gankstars is going to be picking Vox, Lance, and Alpha. Alpha was a very popular jungle pick in this week's tournament, and I am really happy for that. I love Alpha, and she was only played Crystal too, which is even better. I love Crystal Alpha. So it's going to be Iraqi Zoro on the Vox, Rekt on the Lance, and Xenotech on the Alpha. Xenotech is a new pickup for Gankstars, and holy cow, he's gotten so much better. So, Iraqi Zoro on the Vox, going to be trying to dance around the fight, use the Finn for free breaking point stacks, and just does not want to get punted by the Glaive at any cost. Lance, that would be Rekt. Rekt's job is to probably get an Atlas Pauldron onto starting all over on the Ringo. Same thing for Xenotech, and he is also going to be, Xenotech is going to be jumping into the backline, trying to get those core charge stacks, and then use a huge Prime Directive onto starting. And overall, Xenotech's job is going to be to preoccupy Hammers so that Iraqi Zoro can get breaking point stacks. So, if I was going to call the game either way, just by looking at the draft, I would call it for Gankstars. So, let's move right into the gameplay clips here. First clip here, we're going to see a fight break out in the jungle between the 2 teams, and Iraqi Zoro is fantastically out of position. Now, somehow he is going to survive through Rekt's good use of Fountain, and starting all over is going to be chasing him, but notice how much damage Xenotech is getting on to starting all over, and starting all over is going to go down. So, what this does is it highlights the incredible importance of the Ringo's positioning in this team comp, because Ringo can be getting the better of the Vox like he was in that clip, but if he's not in the right position, he's just going to be wasting his time and giving Xenotech's Alpha free stacks for a huge Prime Directive. Now, with starting all over dead and Xenotech still alive, Finn and Crystal Glaive, that's not material that you want trying to kill an Alpha. So, as you can see, this fight is just going to clean up and go the way of Gankstars, because there's not really anything that can knock Xenotech into reboot. He's going to buy Aftershock mid-fight and start doing a lot of damage to both the Finn and the Glaive, and this is just highlighting the Finn's positioning here. You really can't be a Finn and just be that far out, because you're slow. Same thing with Glaive. Xenotech gets the kill, and what we're going to see here is actually the Finn, this clip is starting all over just being fantastically out of position. I have no idea why he did this, but it was a complete mess up by him, and let's go to the next clip. So next we're going to be up in the lane, and Iraqi Zoro is going to be aggressed onto by the side of Hammers, and it's actually going to be wrecked. Wrecked is forced to use his fountain or die, and Iraqi's like, you know what, I need to make a play right now. So he starts going in with his basic attacks on starting all over and attempting to get Chicken to force out his fountain. So this is going to be really successful by Iraqi, and it was actually a really good idea, because if he knows the cooldown that T-Tiger's Afterburn's on, and it's on cooldown right now, so he knows the leash that he has when he's going to go in and try to force out this fountain. He knows when he can go in, he knows when he has to go out, and he is going to be able to force Chicken's fountain out, which, as we are going to see in a little bit, is going to open the door for Xenotech to come up and wreak havoc on this fight. Chicken's fountain is used, Prime Directive onto him, and they're actually going to be able to trade out the Finn. Now, Iraqi Zoro is going to go down, but so is T-Tiger. So this turned out to be a really good trade, because Starting is going to go down too. And this was just a perfect opportunity for Xenotech, and it all started when Iraqi Zoro realized that he had the chance to force out Chicken's fountain. Just really great heads-up play from him, and really good awareness of knowing when he can go in and when he can't go in due to the cooldown of T-Tiger's Afterburn. So this next fight, we see Iraqi Zoro going back up into the lane to try to farm, but Hammers is there as 3, so he shouldn't probably be farming there. Now, Rekt is going to start up the fight with an Impale, but Iraqi Zoro is in fantastically bad positioning right now. Holy cow, I can't stress this enough. This is just the worst Vox positioning I've ever seen from a normally godlike player. He is in Quibble. He's being aggressed upon by starting all overs, twirling silver. He is liable to be afterburned right now. This is not how you play Weapon Vox. This is just an awful place to be in, and as the clip unfreezes, we're going to see that he goes down almost immediately. And Xenotech is going to be left to carry the team on his back, and I mean, yeah, that's really all there is to it. When you're playing Weapon Vox and you're facing abilities like Afterburn, you don't stand there. That is just not a good place to be. So Iraqi Zoro is going to go down here, and even though Xenotech is doing some work, not going to be able to save Iraqi, the fountain is too late. Now let's pause it right here as Starting goes for a Hellfire Brew against an Alpha that has 3 core charge stacks. Yeah, that's not a very good idea. Starting is going to get absolutely destroyed by a Prime Directive here, and it's just not going to go very well for Hammers, because when they lose their Ringo, all of their potential to kill Von C goes out the window. Not Von C, Xenotech. Keep thinking TSM. So they're not going to be able to knock Xeno out of Infinite Reboot, and he is just going to be able to start getting those Aftershock procs onto Chicken and T-Tigers. So, like I said before, Starting goes down, Hammers has no answer for the Alpha. So the priority in every fight needs to be Iraqi Zoro or Xenotech getting onto Starting all over on the Ringo. So as this unfreezes, we're just going to see Xenotech kind of picking apart Chicken, and so yeah. So basically, you can't even really focus Iraqi Zoro. That's the nuance of the comp that Gankstars has picked here. You have to focus, you can't really focus either of them, because if you focus the Alpha, Iraqi Zoro will get breaking point stacks. If you focus Iraqi Zoro, Xenotech has free reign. So next clip. So in this next clip, Starting all over is going to get aggressed upon in the lane up top, and what we're going to see here is T-Tiger's going up to help him, and he is going to try to Afterburn here, and he's not going to accomplish anything with this Afterburn. The Atlas Pauldron is blocked, the stun is blocked, and now T-Tigers is caught on an island. Starting all over is already down to half health, Chicken is running in, he's about to get silenced by the wait for it, and Hammers is just in a very, very bad spot right now. They've used Afterburn and gotten nothing out of it. Starting all over is already at half health. Chicken has used his boots. So, what can Hammers do right here to keep this fight going in their favor? Not what they are going to do in the game. what we're going to see is we're actually going to see Chicken use its Afterburn again defensively and get absolutely nothing from it. There is not going to be any peel for starting all over left. And starting all over, as you can probably guess, is going to get aggressed upon by Xenotech. Xenotech has full core charge stacks right now, and he's going to hit a gigantic Prime Directive onto starting, and T-Tigers is not going to be anywhere close to peeling for him because he already used his 2 Afterburns and got absolutely nothing out of them. When you're playing Crystal Glaive, especially Crystal Cooldown Glaive, your Afterburn might be on a short cooldown, but that doesn't mean you can use it whenever you want. You still need to actually get value out of it if you're going to actually, be a good and productive part of the team. T-Tigers did not get anything out of his Afterburns here, and it's going to result in the quick death of starting all over, and the quick death of the rest of his team in Chicken, and Gankstars is going to win this fight, and I'm pretty sure take the turret too. So, TLDR, if you're playing Crystal Cooldown Glaive, you still need to be getting at least a little bit of value out of your Afterburns. And see, T-Tigers, he goes in here for whatever reason, and he's going to die. When you're playing against a team like Gankstars, they're not going to give you that. Next clip might as well be called How Not to Play Finn, because the Kraken has just spawned, and Chicken123 is all by himself in the bush, and he is just going to be absolutely eaten alive by Gankstars, no help from his team whatsoever, and he is just dead. There is no saving him. When you're playing Finn like that, holy cow, do not get caught out of position, especially if you're in high elo, because you will be punished for getting caught out of position. This is just a free Kraken for Gankstars, and it's just not a good play from Chicken. He should have known his limits as Finn. So, Kraken marching down the lane, and Gankstars is going to be looking to crack the base of Hammers on this push. And you guys remember that thing I said at the beginning of the draft? So, forced accord block, T-Tigers goes in with the Afterburn, and so you see the text on the screen there. Ringo and Finn are too slow to get back to a Glaive that has kind of missed his Afterburn. Iraqi has been blocking these Afterburns all game long, and even now that he hasn't blocked it, it's not like he's been punted right into the entire team of Hammers. The Finn and the Ringo do not have enough mobility to follow up on the Afterburn unless Iraqi Zoro is punted straight to them on a silver platter. So, there's a problem here, a fundamental problem with Hammer's comp, and it's that Ringo and Finn don't have enough mobility to synergize well with Glaive. That's why I would have picked Catherine instead of Finn, and this comp probably would have worked. So it's actually going to be Gankstars surviving this fight and then going on to win it in a little bit. So please, make sure your comp has some mobility synergy along with other things next time you start a ranked match. The Finn just does not go well with the Crystal Cooldown Glaive. Catherine, however, would have done much better. So, this is going to be the last fight of the game, where Xenotech is going on to the T-Tigers, and what we're going to see here is a split between Rekt and the rest of his team, but that's not going to be for long, because Chicken forced the cords over the wall for I don't know why. This ended up being the downfall of Hammers Esports in this first game, this game 1, because they just pulled a breaking point stacked Vox and a Alpha, Crystal Alpha mind you, right into his entire team. Now this is a free, easy in for Xenotech to jump straight onto starting all over, and T-Tigers can try to get him away, but I don't remember if he does or not, but this is just a easy cleanup win for Gankstars due to how ahead they are, and Iraqi blocks the Afterburn. Now the Afterburn is not usable on Xenotech, and starting is just, he's screwed. Xenotech has been landing huge prime directives onto him all game. Fountain really can't protect you against that, and I don't know. Xeno has just played an incredible alpha this game. T-Tigers has been subpar with his Afterburns, to be honest. He needs to be peeling for starting all over. Instead, he's just going right into Iraqi's reflex block. And as it unfreezes here, just clean up for Gankstars. They're going to go down and win it after this, and yeah. So that is going to be the game, guys. We're still going to talk about it afterwards, but Iraqi goes down, but still. Xeno and Rect are going to clean it up, and that's going to be the game. So let's talk about the post-game here and just give a little bit of an overview of what happened in this game, and yeah. So I will see you guys in the next clip. So, what happened in this game that we can learn from? First of all, T-Tigers was playing kind of the wrong hero for his comp. The Crystal Cooldown Glaive, although meta, is just not very good with a Finn and a Ringo, as we are now seeing. Due to the mobile nature of the Vox Lance Alpha team, there were too many threats going on to starting all over at one time, and he could not peel for them all. Now, not to mention, he was constantly going for offensive afterburns and just going right into Iraqi Zoro's reflex blocks, and then that would allow Xeno to jump onto starting, and it would just be a cleanup fight for Gankstars. So, what did we learn here? If you're playing Crystal Cooldown Glaive against an Alpha and a Vox and a Lance, you probably shouldn't be doing very many offensive afterburns if you have like a high priority weapon carry like Ringo. So the entire goal of Hammer's comp was to build Starting's breaking point stacks and let his mechanical skill go. Now, don't get me wrong, Starting is an incredible player. He is only 13 years old, has more mechanical skill than I ever will. Like, I am actually about to drop out of Vainglorious because I keep playing ranked and roaming, but that is a different story for a different day. Like, you can run an entire team comp just off of starting all over his weapon power skill. You just can't do it against Gankstars when they've picked a completely immobile comp and your comp is 2/3 immobile. So, what I mean is when you have the Glaive that has the insane movement ability and the ability to punt right back into your team, but then you have the Finn and the Ringo. Ringo, who is incredibly slow when he's not using Twirling Silver, and Finn, who is just the king of slow. The only person slower than Finn is Baron at level 1, and that's really saying something. So, I guess what I'm just saying is you should have picked Catherine. Honestly, you should have picked Catherine, especially into the Alpha. You can silence the Alpha when she's at low health, so she can't even get off her termination protocol, and it just would have been a great counter. You can stand next to Starting and put your Stormguard bubble up when he prime directives. Catherine would have just been an infinitely better pick here for Hammer's Esports. So, I guess let's talk about Gankstars now. Gankstars did some great pick and ban. They had some great pick and ban strategy. They took away the Adagio and the Koshka. They knew that the only thing that was probably going to hinder their Alpha early game was a Koshka, and they smartly took that away before picking the Alpha in the double ban. They took that away as the second ban. Hammers banned Lyra, which is always a good choice. Gankstars banned Adagio. I'm really not quite sure why Kestrel was banned out by Hammers. That doesn't really make much sense to me, but I'm not them, so who am I to judge? So, that's mostly going to be it for today, guys. If you learned a lot, I hope you did. That's going to be it. So expect Game 2 on tomorrow or Wednesday. Expect Game 3 Thursday or Friday. Do you like the new format? Do you like the new logos that I've gotten? Do you like the new background? Like the music? Do you want to know what the music is? The comment section is always the place to ask me those questions. I will always answer your questions in the comments. So that's going to be it today, guys. I can't wait to do Game 2 for you guys. I'm going to be doing at least 2 or 3 of these Vainglory 8 matches per week, because there's going to be a tournament every week. If you didn't catch, TSM is the winner of this week for NA, and Cyclone is the winners of EU for this week. So, I will see you guys all later. See you in the next video.